Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this truly momentous and historical occasion. I'm Roy Buell, Mayor of Dubuque, and it's my privilege to welcome you today on behalf of my City Council colleagues. With us today are Rick Jones, David Resnick, Kevin Lynch, Luis Del Toro, and Jake Rios. Please wave to them. We're extremely excited and grateful that the day has come that we can officially celebrate the start of construction of the Southwest Arterial US52 project. One of the reasons we chose this location is the tremendous view that it provides. The view behind me makes two things abundantly clear. The first is the magnitude of the project. This will be a 6-mile, 4-lane divided freeway connecting US Highway 20 with US Highway 61, 151. The project includes 3 full system interchanges at US 20, North Cascade Road, and the US 61, 151. The second thing you'll notice from this view is that ground has quite clearly already been broken in a major way. This is a multi-phase project, and several smaller phases have already been completed. But one of the major grading phases is what you see behind us today. You can refer to the handout distributed today for details on each phase of the funding. The partnership to make this project a reality has been worked together on for at least 2 decades, literally. The Southwest Arterial has been the #1 transportation priority for the City of Dubuque, Dubuque County, Dubuque Metropolitan Area Transportation Study, or DMATS, the Dubuque Area Chamber of Commerce, and the Greater Dubuque Development Corporation since 1987. We have analyzed, strategized, and advocated, and here we are today. A little windy out here. Many members of those partner organizations and other stakeholder groups that advocated for this project are here today, and we will hear from them shortly. But we are also grateful to past elected officials, government staff, and private sector staff whose past work helped make this possible. I specifically want to thank Senators Harkin and Grassley and Congressman Nussle and Braley, who all worked tirelessly to bring federal resources to this critically important transportation project and secured nearly $29 million toward the total cost. We're very grateful for their support, partnership, and contribution to the Southwest Arterial US 52 project. I want to acknowledge the city staff who have spent years on this project, specifically City Manager Mike Van Milligan, Senior Counsel Barry Lindahl, Assistant City Manager Terry Goodman, City Engineer Gus Zahoyas, and Assistant City Engineer Bob Shizzle. In addition to working closely with the Iowa Department of Transportation staff and our state elected officials to secure funding for the project, they have led the efforts on the project planning and design, property acquisition, and preliminary phases of the project. Let's give them a hand. This project is possible thanks to the funding and support of the Iowa Department of Transportation. Of the nearly $160 million secured for the project so far, $115 million is from the Iowa DOT. The DOT Commission has been in Dubuque the last 2 days for meetings and tours. A Dubuque delegation gave them an update this morning on this project and other local high-priority transportation projects. In fact, we chose today for this event so they and DOT staff could participate in the event. Our first speaker is Dan Huber, the chairman of the Iowa Department of Transportation Commission. Dan currently resides in Illinois, in Davenport, but he is a Dubuque native and worked for the Dubuque Chamber early in his career, so he has history with this project. Dan?
Thank you, Mayor. It's a pleasure to be here today. On behalf of the Iowa DOT Commission, I just want you all to know it's a special day for me being a native of Dubuque and a former member of the Dubuque Chamber staff. I was leaving about the time that Rick and Mike Van Milligan were arriving, so nearly more than 20 years ago. And this was a top priority for the Dubuque civic and business leaders all those years ago. And it's a real testament in patience and perseverance. One of the things that we observed during our tour the last couple of days is what a thoughtful, well-planned region this is. There's planning going on now for exciting projects that'll happen 20 years from now. Dubuque's always working ahead, thinking ahead and putting their resources behind the things that matter the most. Having been on the commission the last few years, I want to recognize my fellow commissioner here, David Rose from Clinton is here, and he can attest to it too. He's a past chairman of the commission. Dubuque doesn't come with a long laundry list of priorities. They're kind of Johnny One Note. You know, they know what they want the most, and they are very, very clear about what their top priority is. And that Southwest Arterial that we're celebrating today has been that priority for the last number of years. We had an excellent tour while we were here of a lot of different projects, past, present, and future. And the thing that really stuck with me was the fact that we have such scarce resources. Today, I bet you we had 3 hours of testimony on all the millions of dollars in projects that people want us to do all over the state. And no matter how much revenue we have, it's never enough to meet all the needs. And so it really is important that we invest our dollars wisely and that we invest them where we're going to get a good, strong return on investment. And one of the exciting things about investing in Dubuque and in the Southwest Arterial is we know how well this community executes. If you drive around the west portion of this community, you see the growth and the economic development that's occurred as a result of prior investments in the Northwest Arterial. If you look what's happening in downtown Dubuque and along the riverfront, and all the development that's come from some of the improvements that were made to Highway 20 and 151 and 61, Dubuque doesn't just lay back and wait for things to happen, they make things happen. And I think the community has really a lot to be proud of. It's a pleasure to be here with you today and to celebrate this momentous occasion, and we're very excited as a commission to see what kind of return on investment will come from our participation in this very important project. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you to all the DOT commissioners with us today. Our next speaker is Iowa DOT District 6 engineer Jim Schnebelen. Jim has been integral in getting this project to this point today and is leading the DOT team that will be taking it further into the future. Dan?
Good afternoon. It's certainly my privilege to be here today. We've heard the partnership mentioned a couple times. I just want to go into that in a couple different ways. First, as the mayor mentioned, city staff led this project up to this point. They ensured the project development, the right-of-way acquisition, and the design of this project, and it took extraordinary dedication and resources to do that. So certainly appreciate their leadership and partnership on that account. And the other piece is, as you may be aware, this is one piece of a somewhat complicated transfer of jurisdiction we have involved where we're swapping some roads. And I was involved with the development of that part. And it really turned out to be a win-win situation where each jurisdiction really is now going to end up with the type of roads that really are within their comfort level and their type of facilities. And that really didn't just happen. Really, you couldn't really do that without the trust that we've developed as a partnership with the city and the other local jurisdictions, and I wanted certainly to acknowledge that. And really it's that acceptance and that trust that gave the DOT the confidence to invest that over $100 million in this project that, as Dan mentioned, certainly we're confident will result in some significant benefits. And, you know, as part of that confidence in this area is also why just not far down the road, also within our 5-year program, is an over $40 million project for some interchange and safety and capacity improvements at the Swiss Valley interchange. And really these two projects should work hand in hand to help the local economy and the region develop in both safety and that economic development as they within the connectivity between those two projects. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. And I believe that there are a number of other DOT staff with us today. If you're a DOT staffer, could you raise your hand? Hey, thank you. Our next speaker is Iowa State Representative Nancy Dunkel, a member of the legislature's Transportation, Infrastructure, and Capital Appropriations Subcommittee. Nancy?
I haven't been drinking. It's just that rocks and heels don't work so well together, and I look like I'm staggering around. So I'm very honored to be here today as part of the celebration of this great ribbon cutting. I know that I can speak for the Iowa House of Representatives and the Iowa Senators as well when I say that we want to congratulate the leadership of our communities here and the great work that they did, the persistence that they had in seeing that this project became a reality for all of us. And there are three really good reasons that I'm excited. First of all, several years ago when I was the Dubuque Chamber Chair, we had as a top priority back then that we find funding for the Southwest Arterial. So it's been on the radar screen a long time. And as we all know, when you set goals, there are three things that you can do with them. Either just wish for them and don't actively participate in trying to fix it. You can eventually get tired of it and just move it off your bucket list. Or the third thing is you stay diligent, you work hard, you figure out how to do it. And that's exactly what this community has done. And that's why we're here to celebrate today. My second thing that I'm really happy about today is the gas tax was passed when I was part of the legislature. And it was a bill that, bar none, I heard more comments and had more contact from Des Moines people and people from House District 57, either for or against it. Of course, you're always going to have those people for and against, and the people for it like the idea that it's a true user fee, that if you are driving in Iowa, you're going to buy gas probably in Iowa. When you buy the gas, you pay the tax. When you pay the tax is used to come back and fix our roads, and that makes a lot of sense for all of us. Other people would say that they were glad that people from outside of the state would also get to put money into the Iowa coffers, and that's a good thing too. And third is that it went into an account that couldn't be scooped later on. So those were good points. On the opposite side, those that didn't really like it, of course, most people just plain don't like taxes to be increased at all. And that's a fact. Small businesses, all businesses don't like it. And people that can't afford it still have to pay. That's truly not good, I guess. It didn't really cover the complete shortfall that we had. And the cars are becoming more fuel efficient, so people didn't really like to see that. And finally, one of the big ones was that people wanted to see it incrementally put in and not just 10 cents all at once. So there was various ideas on that. But at the end of the day, in such a bipartisan fashion, which I'm most proud of, it did pass the House, 53 to 46, and it passed the Senate 28 to 21. So we did the work when it had to be done. And third thing that I'm proud of is that this is House District 57 right here where we're at. And this is the area that I represent. And so it's good for all of my people. It's good for the city. It's good for our county. And it's good for the state of Iowa because it's a shortcut here. And we appreciate that. You can also see the economic development happening when you come down. I live out in the county, and when you come down the big hill, as we call it, if you look on the left-hand side, what used to be a pasture has become almost a parking lot for all the workers. And you know that they're getting their checks, and they're taking that money, and they're going out to dinner, and they're paying their mortgages, and they're paying their bills. And so that makes our area all stronger. I've seen in my history the good leadership that Dubuque County has, and how they work together, how they get the right people on the bus to do the right things. And for that, we're all very grateful. It's a good example for all the other communities in Iowa, and it has proved today that we get to come to this groundbreaking ceremony because of that tenacity and that stubbornness to stay the course. And I thank the leadership for that.
Thank you, Nancy, and thank you for your service as a state representative. Dubuque County is another key partner on the Southwest Arterial US52 project, having advocated for it for years and in committing $3.6 million in funds to the project. Next, we'll hear from Wayne Demmer, the chairman of the Dubuque County Board of Supervisors. Wayne?
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Dubuque County, Darrell Klein and Jay Wickham, who are both here today, we congratulate again all of the workers. You know, this is my 12th, I'll be finishing my 12th year. This was #1 priority when I came onto the board with Dubuque County, the city, and it continued there. And which we talked about before, all of the stakeholders that had kept it there, kept working. There was these good years and things were moving forward, and then there was less funding and things were going backwards. But the leadership and the people with this continue to move forward. So again, on behalf of Dubuque County, the state of Iowa, the DOT, thank you for making this happen. I think everybody in Dubuque County is looking forward to using the Southwest Arterial. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Wayne, for the county's support of this project, but also thank you for your years of service on the Board of Supervisors. Our next speaker is Buck Coos, a Jackson County Supervisor, but here today as Chairman of the East Central Intergovernmental Association Board to speak on behalf of DMATS. Buck?
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, I'm Larry Buck Coos. I'm Chairman of ECIA and ECIA Regional Planning Affiliation, and I'm also Chairman of the Jackson County Board of Supervisors. You're going to get what's written here because otherwise I'll forget to say something. It's an honor for me to be here, especially surrounded by these impressive individuals and all of you that come out here today. They didn't quite tell me it was going to be this big, but it's nice to be here. The RPA and Dubuque Area Metropolitan Transportation Study, known as DMATS, all work together to make this project come to life. Kelly Dittmeyer, the ECA Director, regrets that she cannot be here today, but asked me to extend her congratulations to all the partners involved in the historical event with the groundbreaking of the Southwest Arterial. The Southwest Arterial has been ECI and DMAT's #1 surface transportation priority for over 15 years. According to internal records, we began talking about this roadway back in 1976. There is a very early group of DMAT leaders that had their 30 to 40 year planning hats on. We're working from a 1965 City of Dubuque comprehensive plan which contained a map that illustrated the north-south road called the Southwest Arterial. According to those minutes, in April of 1976, the Southwest Arterial was identified as a major transportation issue for the DMATS area. The DMATS board and all the partners from 1976 and through the next 40 years brought us to where we are today. I am from Jackson County, and personally this road will make a big difference in my life as I travel to Dubuque at least 3 times a week. It'll save me 20 minutes when coming from south end of town to the west side. But this is not just about time, but also about the valuable time of our local companies in Jackson County and our residents who travel frequently to Dubuque County. They too will positively be impacted by the Southwest Arterial. Not only will the Southwest Arterial save us time, but it'll also be a much safer route than we currently take through Dubuque. Okay, I'm going to go off script here. I drove truck and we traveled to Dubuque. We come up 61, get down Locust, get on 20 and out. That's the main way to get to Dubuque. But we got a lot of other ways. We come up 61, we get off at Rockdale, we go up on Kelly Lane, and we take Cedar Cross Road. That's how we get to Dubuque. Sometimes we come up 61, we pop off onto Grand View, and we take that way into Dubuque. Sometimes when I'm coming to this end of town, I'll come up 61, get on 151, get on Military Road, get on Swiss Valley Road, and end up out here too. Those people who have houses like on Kelly Lane, they're not going to miss us. We need to get this opened up. They're not going to miss us driving by, and that's going to save the city of Dubuque a lot of wear and tear, and it's going to save Dubuque County because we'll quit taking our goofy little shortcuts. Now I'll get back on script. The project has been about partnerships, collaborating, and determination. Much thanks goes to the partners that have worked diligently over the years to keep this project alive and moving forward. Many of you are here today. I want to express our deep gratitude to Iowa DOT Director Paul Trambino, Stu Anderson, Director for Planning Program and Module Division, and Jim Schnoblin. Is that close? Close. You know, you practice something for 2 or 3 days and you get up there and say, yeah, that's wrong. You ain't saying that out, right? The wrong way sounded pretty good, too. Who is our district engineer. It is our pleasure working with you. Special thank you to the DOT commissions for believing in this project and providing the funding in the 5-year program, bringing us to where we are today. Thank you to Mayor Buell, the Dubuque City Council, past and present, and the City of Dubuque staff for the vision and leadership and for the many years of financial and political support. Thank you to our partners, Dubuque County Supervisors, past and present, and the county staff for their leadership, financial, and political support. Greater Dubuque Development and the Dubuque Area Chamber of Commerce. Special thank you to state and federal legislators that have provided both political and financial support throughout the years and have kept this project on the radar screen both at the state and federal levels. Your partnership has been critical to this project throughout the years. And finally, thank you to our ECA staff, Chandra Ravada, who's out here someplace. Wave, Chandra. And Kelly Detmeyer. They have worked on this project with our partners for many years. In summary, this project is about 4 things that has gotten us to here today. Partnership, vision, creativity, and determination. Congratulations, we are finally here. Thank you.
Thank you, Buck. And I'd also like to thank Kelly Detmeyer and Chandra Ravada from the ECIA staff for all their work on this critical project. And next we'll hear from Dubuque Area Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Molly Grover.
Wow. If there was ever a better Chamber of Commerce day than today, I can't imagine one. It is absolutely made for business, prosperity, and progress. And when the redcoats are around, you know something good is happening, and that is certainly true today. Chamber ambassadors, what do we do at groundbreakings, ribbon cuttings? We show everybody how excited we are about today. 10 years ago, when I started with the Dubuque Area Chamber of Commerce, the #1 question chamber members had is, when are we going to be driving on the Southwest Arterial? And thanks to something our city manager has coined, planning, partnerships, and people, we are going to be driving on the Southwest Arterial before the end of this decade, and I think we all should applaud for that. The Southwest Arterial actually should be more aptly named the partnership pathway, because it has truly been the #1 priority for all the leading community organizations who have worked relentlessly in the public and private sector to make this project a reality. We're so grateful for the perseverance, creativity, support, and leadership that has led to this moment. Thank you to the Iowa DOT, the surrounding municipalities and respective leaders, the City of Dubuque leadership and staff, Dubuque County, ECIA and DMATS, our legislators, and of course, chamber members, our 1,154 chamber members. And we like to say the chamber benefits the entire community, but it's the members that make it happen. Thank you to all of you for your unwavering pursuit of this project. With today's groundbreaking of the Southwest Arterial, our roadway network, once an impediment to growth and prosperity, has now become one of our greatest assets. A new transportation corridor of efficiency, safety, and economic development will mean a better, more prosperous Dubuque for everyone. On behalf of our chair, Dick Lonsbach, our board members, our entire chamber ambassadors, the chamber team, congratulations to each and every one of you. It's an honor to be here today. And ambassadors, I'm going to invite you up in just a minute.
Thank you, Molly. Our final speaker this afternoon is Greater Dubuque Development Corporation President and CEO Rick Dickinson.
Thank you, Mayor Buell, distinguished guests, members of the council, supervisors, for all those elected officials for the last 2 decades that have committed themselves to this mission. Congratulations. I'm reminded of what Abraham Lincoln once said after having been stacked up about 8 deep on speaking engagement, and finally it was his term, and he said, well, everything's been said, I just haven't said it yet. But I will be brief. On behalf of the Board of Directors, the investors, and the staff of Greater Dubuque Development Corporation, I'd like to thank the citizens, elected officials, and public servants who have made this day possible, thanks to your perseverance. Isn't it special that at a time when our nation is debating perhaps the lesser of two evils, to be the leader of the greatest nation in this world, isn't it special that we are here celebrating good government? Isn't it special that we're celebrating the notion of civility, of compromise, of hard work, good planning, communications with our citizenry, and using tax dollars to invest in our children and our children's future? Isn't that special? And that's what we are doing here today. I want to clarify that Dan Huber didn't leave just because Mike Van Milligan and I came to town. But whether it was Sister Catherine Dunn, who really laid the course for this commitment to our region, or now the current DOT director, chairman, and commissioners who will hopefully make sure this is 4-lane by 2019, not just 2. Congratulations to you all in providing this example of what good government is. An example for our communities, for our state, for our nation, and for this world. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, Rick. And I want to make a couple other comments before we move on. Before you leave, feel free to take a look at the detailed map on the side of the trailer here. It's got the final design of the project. And you can also follow the progress of the project by visiting the city website at cityofdubuque.org/Southwest Arterial. Update videos and additional project details are available there. And now I'd like to call Molly Grover back to the podium.
Well, the beautiful sea of red that you see in back are our chamber ambassadors. They help us celebrate occasions like today. And I said something good is happening. So ribbon cuttings, grand openings, celebrations, dreams becoming fulfilled. And that's exactly what we're doing here today. Jeff Welty, the president of the Chamber Ambassadors, has a special presentation that he'd like to present the mayor.
Thanks, Molly. On behalf of myself and the fellow redcoats that are here in the Chamber of Commerce, we'd like to congratulate you, Mayor Buell, and the City of Dubuque on the occasion of your ribbon cutting and groundbreaking today of the Southwest Arterial. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Okay, now I believe we're going to take a photograph here. I want to invite each of this afternoon's speakers, DOT commissioners and staff, my city council colleagues, and county supervisors to join us for a photo.